Maybe. Let's see. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Rob Foglia and Jessica Klein with Foglia Properties here at Keller Williams in Nashville. And we wanted to come to you live today to basically talk a little bit about timing the real estate market. Before we do, I obviously you'll see our meme here on the screen. But before we do, I just want to let y'all know that basically our whole basis for doing these videos, and we're so grateful for y'all checking them out. Our basis is to just educate, everybody out there to help make the best decisions with their real estate needs, to help empower y'all to achieve what you want to achieve, and to really just basically pass on the truth of what we're seeing out there, and to, maybe debunk some of the myths that are out there. And so we're going to talk today about timing the real estate market. And you ready to jump in, Jessica?
Yeah, I'd love to know how to time the real estate market.
All right, cool. Well, let's jump right in. And you can see one of my favorite real estate memes I think I've ever seen online is this one right here. Millennial home buyers waiting for the next recession. Probably one of the reasons that it's one of my favorites is I'm technically a millennial, and Jessica, I think you are as well. I think we're both in that age range of what we consider millennials, and so we've got a lot of friends that are out there that are millennials, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, as the real estate markets continue to appreciate. I'm just waiting for the economy to collapse, and then I'll buy a home. Have you heard that too?
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for prices to go down. We're due for a recession, or all kinds of things.
Exactly. And I know our economy isn't necessarily in the best shape right now. It could be going the right direction here. Who knows? Sometime soon. We don't. Nobody knows really the future. But so basically, we want to talk a little bit about this timing the real estate market and what that looks like. And so, without further ado, let me jump here to. Sorry, I need to hide this so I can actually see what I'm clicking. There we go. So this right here, this is our basically historical real estate market just for Nashville. And this is from all the way back to where RealTracs, our local MLS, started calculating the numbers and keeping track of these things, just basically our market trends. And so what we're looking at is just the average, or the median, excuse me, sales price. My apologies for my dog here, y'all.
Working from home, right?
Yeah, working from home. So hashtag social distance, right?
Yeah.
And so what we're seeing is the median sales price for basically homes in Nashville. That's what we've seen over the last 12 years or so. And the biggest thing that I want to point out, actually a couple of things right here that I want to point out. But Jessica, where would you say the bottom of this market is? Here, let me see if I can zoom in. I can. So let me just zoom in. So that way we can see things a little bit better. Where would you consider the bottom of this market?
Oh, probably somewhere 2010-ish, a little later.
Somewhere in this range?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
High 160s, 170, I mean, very close. So yeah, I mean, this whole range, I would say, right? This whole,
Yep.
1.5 to 2 year range was very much kind of the lowest median sale prices we saw in Nashville. And so anyway, wanted to sorry, my dogs will get me distracted like crazy. So anyway, the biggest thing that I want to ask you though, Jessica, just let's rewind ourselves for a second. Let's just say it was 8 years ago, and you were thinking about buying a home in the beginning of 2012, and you were worried that the real estate market was going to continue to go down or stay level or maybe go down. Could you have known the future? Could you have known that, basically by 2 years later, we would see the median sales price be 20% higher?
Yeah, I mean, of course not. No one has that crystal ball, and no one can see next month or next year or any time frame in the future. And even when we're looking at this graph, it's all looking into the past,
Mm-hmm.
and numbers that have been recorded after the fact. And we don't have any idea what the graph is going to look like in the future at any point along this line.
Well, exactly. And one of my favorite stories that I can tell y'all, just looking back into my past, was right around here. I can't remember which month it was. It was like January, February, something like that of 2016. My wife and I, we bought our first rental property. And, if we just think back about it, 2016, election year, sometimes people think there's going to be market volatility or economy volatility in an election year. And so I vividly remember being under contract on our first rental property. And for those that know me well, you can see my shirt, cash flow today, like rental properties and passive income. Like, that's a passion of mine. I love rental properties. I think it's such a great way to grow wealth long term, and to really be, self-sustainable with money. It's the beginning, at least for me anyway. It's basically the first step in that direction. So anyway, I remember being under contract and getting ready to close on it, and seeing some and I won't name a name, I won't even name a company. He was not with Keller Williams, but see another real estate agent posted something on Facebook talking about how this is the peak of the market. The market is ready to collapse. Like, said it with such force and determination that I was like, well, wait a minute here. Is this smart to be buying a rental property? And long story short, it was, because look at things for a second. From January 2016, the median sales price being 255 all the way to, let's just take it to January of 2020, that's almost $100,000 more. That's $90,000 higher than where it was in January of 2016.
Yeah, and that's amazing appreciation. Like you said, here we're looking at um, the median price for a home in Nashville, and assume that you have the most average house in all of Nashville. Like, you could easily have seen that $100,000, $90,000 appreciation. That's amazing in that amount of time.
Exactly. It's huge. This home right here, that $255,000 home, went up 30-40% in value in 4 years.
Yep.
And the reason why I want to share this story is that, I'm not talking ill of that agent. That's why I'm not throwing an agent or a company out there or anything like that. It's just, I feel bad for that person's clients, because that person was speculating. That person was saying, hey, this is what the real estate market is going to do, and you should heed my warnings because it's going down. And obviously that's not what happened, because 4 years later, it's, values are through the roof. And like we've been talking about, and just this whole reason I wanted to preface this video with, our goal is to educate, to provide you all the truth, to empower you all to make the right decisions. That ultimately, we don't know what this number is going to be in June. For the end of June, what the median sales price is going to be. We can see that it's basically stayed level the last 30 days, and it's continued to rise this year, despite everything that's happening out there right now, and despite our world being kind of crazy. We're seeing that values have continued to rise a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one thing that we also wanted to share, just, because we do like our visuals here and numbers here when we're doing our videos. This right here is historical interest rates. And this is the one thing that I say you can kind of time when it comes to affordability. So just kind of, let's go back to our favorite meme right here. All right. And it's always puts a smile on my face. I don't know why. Maybe it's just the nerd for me. Maybe it's just the timing, the real estate market, and having those shoes. Like I said, buying our first rental property in 2016, and we're still kind of in those shoes, because we're always looking for more investments, and thinking about right now, what's the future of the market. So just to jump back to here, this is kind of the thing that we can control, and the thing that does impact our the thing that does impact what basically your affordability is on a home. Because I think we did a video probably about a month ago, Jessica, where we talked about how interest rates do play into affordability, and how when rates jump up, say rates rise by 1%, it's going to affect a buyer's affordability by about 10%, right?
Yeah, well, and they also change a little bit faster. And I think what you were talking about just a second ago, sometimes we even have a little bit of a heads up when rates are going to change. And, that could be on a lender level, that could be changes that the Fed is making that would kind of trickle down and affect mortgage rates. It's important to know that those are different things, the Fed rate and the mortgage rate. However, we really can, we have a little bit more foresight in rates. And like you said, it has a huge impact on affordability.
Well, and to an extent they do. I don't want anybody to misunderstand what you just said, Jessica, that, we don't know 30 days from now if rates are still going to be super low. I got off the phone with one of our lenders, earlier today, who was telling me that for a 30-year fixed, I mean, he's quoting people around 2.75, which is, I mean, that's historically low. That's amazing, and that's for a 30-year fixed conventional. You have to, great credit at that point, but at the same time, that's amazing. I mean, let's look back to 2 years ago. That's almost 2% less from an interest rate standpoint. And if you think about 1% impacting somebody's payment by about, their affordability by about 10%, what's going to impact it by about 20% in a good way, and so it just means you can afford more home. And so we just wanted to share this with you because, what I'm seeing out there, and correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Jessica, but I think with everything with COVID-19 that's popped up, it's made people be a little hesitant to get out there and do things. And, kind of everybody who's out there who's had the want to do something, want to make a move, want to buy a bigger home, want some land, want whatever it is, like they kind of put some things on hold. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And at the same time, when we're seeing rates be this low, like this, making a decision to act sooner rather than later, making that decision to move now or to sell your home now or to buy now, that's timing the market, because that's looking at it saying, all right, this is what's financially the most affordable thing for me to do, to be able to get an interest rate and lock myself in for 30 years at 2.75. Oh, that's huge. That's going to impact the payment by, it's going to save you thousands of dollars over the years. And that thousands of dollars can then go toward investments, maybe toward a kid's college fund, toward paying off your debts, whatever it is that can help change your family's trajectory. And so, we want to share that because it's, unfortunately, this guy may have been wrong, is what we're trying to get at. As much as I love the meme, the recession itself isn't what should spark you to take action. It's information like this, seeing that. And here, I'll even jump back to this one, seeing that values aren't going through the roof. It's not like here where they're appreciating, going up a few $1,000s a month. I mean, here it's, $1,000. That stayed exactly the same, $1,000 here. They're barely changing. Whereas, let's go to the right thing. Here we go. So where here, the interest rate really is what impacts it. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Well, and the interest rate impacts you every month. $1,000 on the price is spread out over the life of the loan. Mm-hmm. Technically interest rates are too, but just to make it a little more, a little easier to see the impact of it. Like the interest rate is the thing that makes a much bigger difference than that $1,000 on the price.
Oh yeah.
Also, if you're talking about timing, not even timing a market, or if you're talking about predicting what's going to happen with affordability on a home, you can't get much lower than 3% on anything, right? On interest rates, on whatever. You don't get lower than 0, and 3 is essentially 0. So if it's going to do something in the future, it's likely going to be higher.
Well, these are literally the lowest they've ever been. And I'm not just saying that, it's not a sales pitch. I'm not a lender. I don't get anything if you refinance a home, or, obviously if you buy a home and work with us, then we're helping you, and there's a difference there. But we're not, like, if you even just need to refinance a home, we'll connect you with a great lender. But even just going back, y'all can look at the numbers on the screen here. I think I saw numbers in the 3s here in 2012. But even then, that was, higher than they are right now. There a few months there where they were in the low 3s. That was it. And then there's some months here where they're in the high 3s. And then here, low 3s. I didn't see any month that was below 3.23%. So,
yep.
So I think that's all I've got here on Jessica. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover that we didn't get into?
I think that's pretty much it. I know that we've been talking about buying and selling here in the interest rates. You mentioned briefly refinancing. If anybody is interested in refinancing, these are historical lows, and we have a great mortgage partner who can help you refinance if that's going to help you, especially in the current climate. And it could be, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like a family member of mine, and I won't give too much information out, obviously, but a family member of mine refinanced here recently, and she had been shopping online, like going on all these different websites and seeing, rates in like like numbers that were showing like this, like around 4%. Because she probably didn't know exactly what she was looking for or what to be looking for. And somebody quoted her, I think, a rate somewhere around here, which obviously wasn't too good of a rate. And so anyway, my point is she ended up getting a rate somewhere right in here. I mean, it was low 3% is what I'm getting at. And saved her a lot of money. She got out of her mortgage insurance because she'd only been in the home 3 or 5 years and didn't have 20% down, and saved her a lot of money on her monthly payment. So yeah, that's something we can definitely help you with. Again, we're not the lender, but we can connect you with a great lender who can help. And again, this is the time to take action, though. Again, don't be fooled by this guy. It's not about the recession, is what we want to get across. And if that's one thing that you hear about it, it's not about waiting for the next recession or the economy to collapse. It's about timing, making your decisions on a timely fashion, locking yourself into a great rate like this, where that's going to keep your payment low, to where it keeps your home affordable. Because real estate's a long-term investment. I mean, just go back to what we were talking about here real quick, and we could probably end it on this. Is that, if you bought a home thinking, well, here, just say you bought it here and you were thinking, all right, I'm going to hold it for a year, even though the market was at its absolute lowest, you saw it go up in value on average, or by the median price, by about $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
in
great
a year.
opportunity, but it's not out of the world. But if you held it here and you held it for 8 years, you saw it double in value. And that's what we want to get across, is real estate's a long-term investment, and by getting yourself into it with a low rate, it's going to help.
Yeah, and then just keeping an eye on it. What's happening right now. Is right now a good time?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, is in 6 months a good time? Because no one's ever going to know.
Exactly. So y'all give us a shout if there's anything we can do to help. So meaning, if you're ready to start that process to buy a great home, or if you're thinking about that, want to move, and you're thinking now is the time, or even if you just want to explore your options, give us a shout. You can PM us here on social media. You can call us 615-591-5665, or email us info at Foglia, Foglia properties.com.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks y'all so much for tuning in. We'll talk next week.